All right, Sam. I believe that we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spar and Brawl. I hope you're having a decent day. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Sam, and we wanted to record a small episode of the Progressive World today. And since we're trying out this whole live setup, we thought maybe we'd try it out live. It's gonna allow us to play a little bit of the video and be more interactive. I see that Carib Moth is already in the chat box, so that's awesome, even though we didn't give a heads up or a notice once again, but we're only getting used to it. But yeah, how are you, Sam? How are things?
Oh, good. Cheers. Thank you. Well, usual.
You all
We're
good?
not here for personal chit chat. Yeah.
No, we're here to
I
talk
mean,
about some really serious stuff.
yeah. I mean, at the beginning, at least, no, but yeah. Eventually, we'll get to some serious substance.
Yeah, so today's lineup is we're first going to talk about what Jenk did this video where where he says like how the CNN doctor should have acted and how he should have acted in front of Joe Rogan. I'm glad he didn't
So
act that
funny.
way.
There is just it's comedic value.
And Anna's there all chilled playing good cop, bad cop. I think so. We're going to play a little bit of that video and hopefully Sam can hear it and I can hear it as well. If not, we won't. And then we're gonna move on to to the video that this young lad who works for who's affiliated with TYT, and he put a video on HQ Rebel. I mean, he was attacking Glenn Greenwald, and he
Not
was defend.
attacking.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
was
sorry, he was.
criticized. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And the
Uh,
video is funny. I don't even get it. So in his head, everyone is bad, but for some reason the CIA is good. And he goes.
no, I
I mean, with others,
would
he
say he's
wasn't. Yeah.
his take is very typical of your run-of-the-mill liberal or young people, to be honest, that
Really.
everything bad happened 40 years ago and they stopped it then. And of course they did bad things. I mean, Chapo Trap House actually does a great bit about that. I forget on what topic they were talking about. But yeah, everything bad. Oh, when they did the Washington Post quiz thingy, conspiracy theory quiz, that everything bad happened 40 years ago, and
Hmm.
since then, since Watergate or since like Iran Contra affair, since then everything else has been hunky dory and dokoro. So that's we live in a special it's a very like we live in a unique times type of thinking that our government corrupt, no way.
I see. Well, I mean, he seems to. I mean, we'll talk about it once we do it. But he seems to be fine with Democrats or Republicans being corrupt. That made sense to him, if I recall correctly. But it's just the CIA that's like seemed holy to him. But we'll
It's
get to it.
he's he yeah, Bill Gates. But it's so funny that
Yeah, and then
just
Grayzone has done a bunch of great videos, so we'll kind of mention those, go over a few of them, and then we have a few small tweets to go over. And I'm already getting distracted by the comment box, so I'm gonna put the comment section behind a little bit, so I don't
oh
see
yeah, I
it.
can see comments too
So I don't see it
this
every
time.
2 seconds, and every now and then, maybe towards the end of every story, we can check and see what's there. But yeah. But keep it coming, people, please. I'm just getting used to it. I don't want to get distracted. I
Yeah,
want to focus
just
on everything that Sam is saying, all the intellect is spreading on this on
sure.
this live
I
show.
would one of the people who commented says
Yeah.
that Chapel Trap House does a wonderful reading series. They did a two-parter on George W. I think George G.H.W. is the father, and
Mm.
it was very well done. And yeah, I think I've seen that. It's really good.
Yeah, you're super into them, right? So, I mean, you seem to be into them, and I kind of started listening to them. I've
Yeah,
enjoyed so far.
yeah. I hope YouTube doesn't get angry, but I really don't get why. Like I keep watching their videos, and like the autoplay just goes to DW or France 24 after, and it's the only channel that it does that. That it's just never goes to there. Anyways, but yeah,
I
it's weird.
see. Interesting.
Don't
Yeah.
wanna start a thing with you, YouTube God, right now. Later on,
No.
when I have enough
No, so far, I mean, YouTube seems to be, yeah. they're half nice to us. They don't show our stuff to non-subscribers anymore as much as they used to.
Yeah,
But I think, yeah, I don't think it's anything
they
again.
haven't. Yeah, they haven't. I think categorized us yet, at least.
Yeah, they don't
So new
understand
pro-
some things. But okay, Sam, should we watch a little bit of just to get the juices flowing?
Oh,
Watch a
sure.
little
Yeah,
bit.
let's start with
So
that.
let me see if okay. Let me know if you can hear it. Oh,
I can't see your screen, by the way. I
yeah,
don't think there's share screen on yet.
yeah. No, no, no. Hold on. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm really sorry, people. No, this is not correct.
Mm,
Oh,
it's
now I
good.
get it. Okay, I think I go here. Uh-huh. Wow. It's very simple. They literally have 3 buttons, but still haven't got a hold of them. Okay, Sam, let me know. No, you should soon be able to see.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. So it is probably a form of a Squid Game. I would say life is a form of a Squid Game, not just YouTube. So YouTube is just mini. Anyway,
Okay, I think we're all good. Can
sorry, I'm
you?
just right. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
go
fine. You're
ahead.
reading the. Okay, can you hear? Let me know if you can hear it.
I
You
can't
know who
see
else
it
lies?
still. There's-
Joe Rogan and his hosts all the time. I mean, and his guests.
You still couldn't see it?
I couldn't see it, but I don't need to. But yeah, but it was very loud, though. I would say I don't know if anybody like the audience hears it. the
Yeah, no.
same
Let
as
me
I
let me
do.
cut the. No, yeah, you pretty much are getting the audience experience. So let me know these things. Okay, let me know.
Audience.
Let me know if you can hear it properly now when I play it, and then we'll set for the live show. Sorry, everyone.
You know who else lies? Joe Rogan and his hosts all the time. I mean, and his guests. They've lied about me many times. He's had tons of guests who come on and say things that aren't remotely true. Dave Rubin went on there and told about half a dozen lies himself. Outrageous lies that never happened. Did Joe Rogan ever push back on that? No, he doesn't mind, as long as people are lying about people that aren't his friends, right? Or him. When somebody's lying about him, he's like, oh, he's all aghast, right? Somebody lies about me on his show, he loves it, he's there for it. So hey, spare me your BS outrage, okay?
Okay, that's the first
Okay,
thing, right? That's the first one. I don't understand why Joe Rogan should care as much when people attack Jenk than when they say something about him. I mean, obviously he doesn't care as much about something bad being said about you, or he doesn't even know if it's a lie or if it's the truth. So I mean, I don't know what he was connecting that to.
Yeah, and yeah, no, I mean it's just he's so angry. That's the funniest part. It's just he's so animated in his anger. But I would say like he may be even right, but I do think he like CNN is different from Dave Rubin, isn't it? And it has a slight larger reach. And he was talking about CNN. He wasn't talking about specific individuals. From what I've seen, I haven't seen the whole thing. So yeah, I would say, but it was so funny though because you start the video. I mean, just forget about the substance of it and all that.
There's no
So
substance in this
yeah,
video.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just funny.
okay,
But
he's
you
obsessed
start the
with
video
the.
and he's so angry and it's just like and he starts with this personal matter regarding himself. So you
Yeah.
know that it's it's a very personal thing. But yeah, that was like the funniest. Like I think it felt like a 2 shots of espresso as soon as I started the video. Like, yeah, he lies. He's host. He's guest. I mean, he's goddamn everywhere he lies.
Yeah,
It was quite fun. He keeps getting angrier surprisingly till like 70% through the video.
yeah, I mean,
it's a constant.
Yeah, no, he's super
Sorry, go ahead.
angry in this video, and I mean, on this channel, we don't even want to talk too much about the disease because, of course, like already there's already issues with YouTube. You talk about the like demonetize it, and we talk about it so much anyway, like outside in life. So like whatever, we're not missing out on much. But this video, you can watch it and analyze the video and talk about it without mentioning that disease. Really, because he claims that this is what Dr. Gupta should have said to Joe Rogan, but I'm glad he didn't because it wouldn't be productive. Imagine if he was as pissed off as Jenk is. But let's watch a little more.
What did he? Do we have to watch those? But what is his thing? Yeah, I don't get what is his argument. What he said. I didn't get that. I watched the video twice, and I still like he should have been more angry. I don't get it. He doesn't really. I don't. Maybe I missed something in the
I mean, I
barrage
guess
of.
he was pissed. I didn't watch the Joe Rogan and his interview with him, but I mean, I
Oh, I
think
think
Jenk was pissed that that guy didn't like destroy Joe Rogan, or like he didn't like completely make a
yeah, because
fool
he
out of Joe
doesn't.
Rogan.
Yeah, he doesn't give a substitute answer for his answers or
Hmm.
anything. He just says you should have clarified that it's used for blah, not used for blah. The
Yeah.
other, what is it? Advil is not used for cancer. That's the example he gives. It's like
Yeah.
Jesus, like very and but again, like it was prescribed by doctor. I don't get
I
like
mean,
so angry about this, like so worked up.
Joe Rogan is not the doctor of the U.S. I mean, at one point, he actually, the thing about Joe Rogan with the COVID thing is wherever you stand on it, at the very least, it seems like everything he's saying, he himself completely believes it, right? So what are you gonna do? This is what Joe Rogan believes. There's no need of you getting this angry, and he's not the doctor. I know he probably has influenced a lot of people,
Oh,
but
he was
hey,
angry because he has to wear mask. That because the unvaccinated they all follow Joe Rogan. I
and
mean,
that's
it
yeah,
was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, like his madness was righteous because he said he was forced to wear a mask because of the unvaccinated.
yeah.
I believe.
So he himself is
But
spreading misinformation.
yeah, it's kind of seems from what I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not up to date on the, medical things, but yeah, it's just just I don't get it. Why is he so? I mean, I do. Apparently, they're like doing really badly in terms of views and all that. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's the financial pressure. It's just getting, but yeah, I mean, although I did look at their channel, they still get a lot of views, but maybe not that much more than Kyle Kalinske or.
Yeah, I mean, I think TYT, if you just go look at their views, of course they get views, but I guess it's putting it into context and their history and the amount of followers that they have. But Sam, let's watch a little bit more of this. We definitely won't watch the whole
Sure.
thing. I mean, there's no point. I just want to see Anna's part two because I mean, you have to give her credit. She's like so calm and stuff. So maybe we can watch a little bit until Anna's done.
So now let's go to the core issue that they're talking about. So Gupta went on there for what? Like to theoretically address Rogan's audience so they get vaccinated and he gets them some information. Well then, brother, you gotta be prepared.
Totally.
And you got ambushed in the most classic conservative way and you had no idea. So what's part of the ambush? The ambush is that they're not gonna listen to the whole 3 hours. They're gonna take it out a 2-minute clip, and then every headline is gonna say that you got owned by Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan destroyed you and Joe Rogan did this and this. And he proved that ivermectin, that CNN lied about ivermectin. And what is the impression that's going to leave everybody with? That ivermectin is effective against coronavirus, which is totally untrue. It's 100% untrue. Now, you think, well, I mean, later I kind of corrected that, I tried to correct it a little bit by debunking some of the studies. And to be fair to Gupta, he did, okay? But you've got to counteract that on the spot, and you got to not go in there unprepared and not know that Joe's going to ask you that question. He's been railing about that the whole time. You got to do a little research. So, but the thing is, people who are in mainstream media, they're obsessed with famous celebrity. So now Joe is famous. So he's super friendly, super friendly. If he was asked that same thing from someone he thought was not credible, right or left, Gupta would have been totally dismissive, right? But he's in front of a celebrity with lots of audience. So all of a sudden he's like, I mean, okay, all right. No, wait a minute. You've got to say at that moment, Joe, what the hell are you talking about? Yes, it's for horses, yes, it's for humans, but it has nothing to do with coronavirus. And you're leading people to believe that it does, and when you do, they don't take the vaccine. You're making it seem like it's a replacement for the vaccine. They don't get vaccinated, and then a huge percentage of them die. They die, Joe. They die because they listened to you and thought ivermectin was for coronavirus treatment, when it isn't. It's for tapeworm. Joe, admit it. Is it for tapeworm? Is it for tapeworm? Is it for tapeworm? Admit it, Joe. But he's not ready to do that because he's having fun with a celebrity. Well, you're doing damage to the country by going in like that.
Man, the guy believes it. The guy believes it. I mean, he literally took it himself. I mean, you want him to lie. I mean, this is what Joe
No,
Rogan
and
believes.
he was prescribed it by a
By doctor.
doctor. So I assume the virus or any virus affects different people. Like I've had people who doctors prescribe them different things for the same virus or different virus. So yeah, I don't understand why are you first of all getting into a nitty gritty of his like prescription. Secondly, and because he's correct, like what he got was not the dewormer thingy he's talking about.
Yeah.
Secondly, yeah, it's just he's so like first. I mean, by the way, this is the guy who's lost the debate to Sam Harris and Ben Shapiro, two of the most like deem-witted. I mean, I like the idea that he would have like had the, I would have been on my feet, I would have responded like that, motherfucker.
He doesn't
Like,
respond on the
like,
show. Like he prepared for this.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah, he
he's
prepared
just
for
angry.
this and he's just shouting. Yeah, he's just shouting. Was it this? Was it that? So I mean, and it's just and then you're hurting the nation and a huge percentage. I mean, look, there's a lot of I think, sadly, so many people have passed away. All of that. But I mean, just a bit of like control yourself. You're
Yeah.
doing a bit of a scaremongering. A huge percentage of like people who get it, like I believe less than 2% pass away. Like chill them. Like suddenly you're damaging the nation. You're our values, family values. Suddenly I expected, goddamn.
And I mean, you have to give it to Jenk because I don't agree mostly with what Joe Rogan says about all kinds of things on COVID, but you have to give it to Jenk to somehow make a video and make you want to take the other guy's side. I mean, only Jenk. And I just want to show a bit of Anna.
It's just I don't understand who's looking to these people for medical advice. I never understood this. It's
Some
like people
do
who look
perhaps,
up
but
to celebrities for.
That's unfortunate, but
I mean, whatever it is, it's not worth getting this angry about. But it's just.
I mean,
would
it's
say
kind of like
just,
It reminds me a bit of the Dave Chappelle thing, where they like have expectations of him, like of him like communicating like the best way and the best thing that they want and like their messaging and all that. It just kind of. And if not, he's just gonna, ruin everything in the U.S. Kind of giving a lot of more power than these people have, than the media has, really, to them, I feel.
I mean, I don't think they really. First of all, I don't think in reality they really influence people that much. Secondly, sorry.
My apologies.
So even if they do, who cares? Like, if people want to follow, I mean, anyways, especially I would say like the Dave Chappelle one because it was a social issue. This is like more medical. I would say like it's like, do you look up to Brad Pitt because in like 12 Years a Slave he built a house with carpentry? Now architecture wherever I just check with Brad Pitt. What do you think of like it was character anyway? I don't get it. But I mean this is a real person, I know, but it's just who cares? But I mean you want to go ahead, maybe get to.
I wanted to maybe look at a few comments. Just quickly since we have.
Sure.
So have you all just be flashing them on the screen. No time. Jenk is like the wolf in the sheep clothes. Let me see
or
what
a sheep
else.
in a wolf. Shitty wolf.
I can't see what is Carrot Mouth saying. I can't see Rogan even responding to this Jenk challenge. He might not even be fully aware. I mean, this video of Jenk only did 140,000, which for a hot topic like this is really low for their channel, and he got 12,000 downvotes. I mean, he got completely destroyed.
I saw the comments. The comments were really negative towards Jenk, and he like let's just But
I think 100%. And I mean, it's nobody from CNN. Yeah, here Carrot Moth is saying, after the Gupta interview, the CNN crowd went right back to the same lies. I think they literally told to lie in their meetings. Yeah, I mean, they just come there for like. I mean, he just came here to slightly expand his audience.
Did you see the Don Lemon thing?
No.
Gupta? He did an interview. Don Lemon I don't. He works at CNN, but anyway, basically he sort of kind of forced Sanjay Gupta to take it back.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
he took it back, and he didn't. Sanjay Gupta didn't sort of, and he tried even to say the point Joe was trying to make, and then Don Lemon cut him off. So I still think Sanjay Gupta is a good guy and all that, but like they didn't even allow him to talk, like because the segment is 5 seconds as usual of CNN, because I think the CNN programmer is like a 6-year-old with ADHD or whatever. But yeah, it's
Right.
just anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised if you look at that YouTube shit that they have. Their YouTube, like the guy who does YouTube videos on his channel, the extremely
yeah.
childish.
Vice.
Yeah, he's as childish as they
He's
get.
like a baby that has overgrown baby. Like he looks like the tough. Have you seen Boss Baby, the cartoon?
No. Oh yeah, but no.
But he had one of Boss Baby has one like baby, which is like a thug thing, like the muscle of the group. I think he looks like him.
No, that guy is super annoying. And then Super Patriot had 2 comments. One, he said that Joe Rogan is actually a genius. That's why. Where is that one? I mean, Joe Rogan is very smart. I mean, and a natural at a few things. I mean, I've kind of gotten tired of him, to be honest. But Jenk has revigored my interest in him. And then I think this one is super true. Gupta probably they got spanked when he got back to CNN. But okay,
I mean,
let's watch the rest. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody ever watched the Caveat, but I like Rogan's I like the long format, and I like the guests mostly, and I like that he asks questions that I think moves the conversation forward.
Most of the time, yeah.
Unlike Don Lemon.
Yeah, can't get about that. All right, let's watch a little more of this.
Sure, let's get to that.
By listening to all of it, the sense that I got was, number one, Sanjay Gupta is clearly a fan of Joe Rogan's podcast because he listens to it regularly. He made several references to previous episodes of the podcast, including references to pretty obscure guests. And I was like, oh, he's not BSing. He actually does, in fact, listen to Joe Rogan's podcast regularly. And the other thing that I kind of felt was that he wanted to go on the podcast in an effort to like calmly debunk some of the misinformation on Rogan's podcast, but he didn't come. He just didn't seem prepared, to be honest with you. And look, I think that Joe Rogan actually asked some pretty interesting questions. Like there were things that I learned through that podcast that I haven't really seen covered, that I want to do more research on. And it's okay to ask those questions, right? Joe Rogan's not a doctor and he's not a medical professional or expert. So it's okay to have those questions, it's okay to ask them, but it's really discouraging when the person answering those questions doesn't really seem ready to answer them.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, some of Sanjay Gupta's responses to Rogan made me question, like I'll give you a specific example and let me just be clear about something. I'm not a health professional.
Man, not bad, huh?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, I love the fact
what
that.
What do people in comments think? Let us know. Not bad, by
yeah, I think she's much more balanced view, and I think, I mean, if you continue, she basically goes on to say that, well, I came across some new information that challenged my established view, and I can't believe it. But yeah, I would say that it's just, I don't know, I don't believe just the kahunas and these people telling, like, he's a medical professional, whatever you wanna like disagree, agree, whatever, So it's just the fact that they feel like they would have done a better job at like they're because she's literally criticizing Gupta, and I think I don't know.
Like, I mean, I didn't watch it, but
like
from a CNN
I would criticize him on his style, but not on substance, because he's the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it, but him being a CNN host, I wouldn't be surprised if he went in there not being too prepared, maybe just like not used to it. Because yeah, when you go on the Joe Rogan podcast, you should be a little bit.
No, he was
prepared.
He was really.
He
was prepared on. I think he pretended he didn't know about the whole Joe Rogan. They called CNN called because he said, "Yeah, I didn't ask why they." did that, because Joe Rogan asked him why did they lie, or why did they say that. But everything else, I mean, when they talked about the science issues, from the 20 minutes I've seen, seemed very substantive, and he was talking about, like, they talked about vaccine for younger people and all that type of thing. So
Okay, I see.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, I mean, yeah. It's just, again, it's like, it feels like I have my own views about something, but I'm not gonna like go to I have my own views about civil engineering, but when it's civil engineer, I'm not gonna be like, no, well, on the substance, I think you're wrong. Like, it's a bit, anyway.
I mean, if you know something about it and you can like counter it.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, at this level of, like, I don't know, it just feels like, because it seems like they don't even disagree with Gupta. It seems like they're just angry he didn't put out the right information
Yeah, I
at the
mean,
right time.
they wish that he went on and made a fool out of Joe Rogan, but that's rarely gonna happen in a debate.
I also feel for Anna, though. It feels like, you're in one of those family gatherings, and one of the family members has his usual thing that triggers him or her, usually a him, to like go on a whole fucking rant. And yeah, sure, we see your point, but you're just saying maybe you should just calm down, and vegetarian option is not the worst thing. Just chill out. Yeah, it's just, no, I've said many times. Just, okay, calm down. Your heart pills are just, yeah, I feel like she's a bit stuck between a hard place and a rock there.
Yeah, that seems like it. I don't know if I should play a little bit more here where he gets really mad. Let me see if he gets really mad here, or know if it's over.
He
is 10 times as many.
Wenn Sie Wattestäbchen zur Entfernung von Ohrenschmalz verwenden, sollten Sie sie sofort.
Sorry about that. Okay, that's that. Let's come back here as we wrap up this story. Let's just see a few comments. People seem to be impressed by Anna for being also for a reasonable response. Yeah. Given what we see of her. Maybe
even the madman she's trapped with, who might loses it and just murder everybody. Seriously, I wouldn't feel comfortable just not agreeing with the man who's about to explode.
Man, you remember that video where they interview Michael Moore and Jenk? You pointed it out, and Jenk is so angry. Like, he's just so angry. He thinks like something's gonna happen, and then Michael Moore says like nice stuff about him, and he like calms down.
Yeah. Yeah,
the crazy uncle, Super Patrick.
He just like it just starts the video with like cranking his neck and just, okay, this guy, I think he knows Jimmy Dore. I'm gonna fucking murder.
But do you think Jenk? I just have a question. Do you think Jenk takes all this hate home, or he's able to like separate this? Because he has so much hate towards like a few people that he's nonstop back and forth, like beefing with them at least 2 or 3 times per week. Do you think he's able to separate this? I mean, that would be impressive. Otherwise, he must be going crazy.
For the sake of his family, I hope he does.
I mean,
I would imagine with Twitter and all that, it's hard. I would imagine.
Hard to what?
To separate work from his work, specifically from family. But I mean, I hope he does.
Because he's beefing with Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, Joe Rogan, probably people we don't know, and he's like angry about other things that you should perhaps be angry about too. Like Glenn, I can see him tweeting and then putting his phone aside and not like caring, like just like immediately moving on to the next thing he had. But
going saving a couple of dogs, and then tweeting about that. But I do think this video and the Michael Moore video, it is making me a bit worried about his heart, I would say. Just, he does seem really, really, just sometimes just chill out, man.
Yeah. But, and just one maybe some substantial comment, which is that, I mean, Jenk wants be more effective communicator for like effective messages about COVID-19 and, for Joe Rogan to spread the right messages and stuff. But the way he's going about it and like screaming in this video for 10 minutes is definitely not helping. So if he wants
No,
to
I'm
be more
sure if you're a
productive,
Joe Rogan fan, or if you're Joe Rogan, you see this reasonable take and you go, oh, I see the folly of my ways now, and I will conform
Yeah.
to the balanced view expressed here.
and man, and he thinks anybody who watches Joe Rogan just like believes these things. Like for instance, I'm vegan and Joe Rogan is not vegan, and all he does is talk about his diet lifestyle, and he's obsessed with that. It doesn't mean that everybody who's listened to him is now going around shooting elks and like eating elk meat only. You know what I mean?
Only elk, not even a fucking normal deer.
Yeah.
Elk. Not reindeer.
Like
yeah,
people
I mean, again, it's like, yeah, we talked about it. They talk about these people as if they're like goddamn, like I mean, you know, military leaders, or like,
Yeah.
you know, second coming of Jesus or something. Like yeah, like people, not a lot of people, including myself, haven't even moved to Spotify for Joe Rogan. You think we follow them for medical advice? I haven't bothered to download an extra app that is free.
That is
Jesus
true,
Christ,
man.
calm down.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just Joe
it's
Rogan
just
going
like-
to Spotify, he lost viewers. So, you know, it's not like everyone is
Although
just
apparently
climbing.
Spotify benefited a lot, though. A lot of people migrated, so. New.
Oh, I mean, I can imagine he's also big. Oh, damn. Look at this. Carrot Moth is also vegan and a Rogan fan. I don't watch the episodes focused on
wow.
hunting, and except the hunters like him don't see themselves as doing anything wrong. Yeah, and I mean, the lifestyle that he promotes with hunting, nobody else, if they're not a millionaire, can or live in a remote area, can carry it out. So it's also...
Oh.
I mean, you know, hunting your own elk meat whenever you need it and all that. I mean, and he grows his own food. God knows what he's up to in Texas on his giant land. He already had chickens and stuff in LA, so I can just imagine there.
My food habits would be closer to him than to you, though, I would admit.
And that's all right.
Yeah. All right.
But okay, so let's move on to another video.
This is another funny.
Yeah.
I mean, TYT should just rebrand as a comedy show, I think. I mean, this one was too good. This one was just so good. God, I like this one more.
Yeah. So this one is about pretty much...
Again, no substance, pretty much.
Yeah, well... the headline of the video is fact-checking Glenn Greenwald's stunt on Fox News. Should we just watch a little bit just to get a feel of the guy?
Yeah, wait. Do you? I mean, I'm of the position facts are very much like these people. Fact checking. Weren't we criticizing the mainstream a couple of years ago or months ago for using that term as if it's objective? There is such a thing as objective fact. I'm just saying, you know, it just seems so weird for me, somebody who's coming from a critical angle or whatever, fact checking somebody else. You can say, I have criticism of their views or I have some comments or something, but fact checking, I mean, that does you know, what do you say? That betrays a level of, I think, arrogance that, you know, anyway.
Yeah, no,
that is not justified in this case for sure.
You're right, and yeah. So let's watch a bit.
Think is actually in charge of the government at this point.
So Glenn Greenwald and Tucker Carlson were having a conversation about the deep state. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this one is a little bit stickier to pick apart to break down what the reality is. Because we need to understand something. Of course, there is a deep state in the sense that there are government officials who are in their positions before and after presidencies, and that not every single person in the government is entirely replaced whenever we elect a new president. It is also true that the government officials who are in these positions largely report to Congress, which is a very important detail because you see the president of the United States is responsible for executing the law as it is, and the executive branch and all of its agencies are there to serve that purpose. Now, the core misunderstanding here that Glenn Greenwald has, and you'll see this in a second, is that he seems to think that these professional government officials shouldn't be following the law that Congress has established, but instead should be operating at the sole discretion of the president.
Days before Trump was inaugurated, when he had posted something critical.
Yeah,
Wait.
go ahead.
First of all, he says this time, he says this. I'm gonna admit this is a bit this one is a bit like this. Like, he does a whole series of this. Like there's a whole series of. If I knew this, I wouldn't be doing this today. I would be watching. Like I love to watch his comedy show, but yeah, I love that how. First of all, deep state. It does not refer to. That's like civil service, right?
But
like,
yeah,
sure. That some people say, and especially if you go to international relations, some say these people provide continuity and all that, and they do act as a part of deep state. But deep state, especially recently, but I mean, it's rooted in actually a Turkish word referring to I think Grey Wolf's first time or something. Anyway,
yeah, I was
like
reading that.
yeah, he's just completely mixing up pretty much civil service, which is the like. You could argue, yes, in some definitions they are like deep state, but
yeah, but sometimes I take that kind of very simple definition of deep state, which is just people who aren't elected, people who work in the government and they aren't elected to their position.
I mean, that's a good definition, I would say, if you're like do a tech academic study or something. But I would say, generally speaking, when we're talking about deep state, we're talking about like a few, usually men, white usually, that are like controlling, like, and I think we are referring to people like people from business community, from couple of governmental officials,
yeah,
like the wise men that after World War II really guided American foreign policy, like Dean Acheson, if I'm pronouncing his name right. People like him. I think he was an advisor. I don't think he had he would be appointed to different positions. Or somebody, let's say, like John Bolton or something like that. Or Dick Cheney. Like, they move between, reminds me of the great book, The Power Elite by C. Wright Mill. I think he wrote it in 1950s or something. But yeah, they move. He has a great quote. I'm paraphrasing. These people move around within a state and business. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, your definition is also correct, I think. But at the minimum, he's just mixing up those two definitions. No. And you're right. I mean, yeah, that's a fair enough definition too. And so yeah.
I mean, the guy in general in the video, if you take his like words and sentences at like by themselves, like he'll say something that is perhaps right, but then he'll just draw an insane conclusion. Or all he does, it's like he reminds me of someone who would teach you how to drive by like reading you a textbook about driving and not like actually what's happening in practice. Because he says like, oh no, we'll see, that can't happen because the Constitution says this. There we go. It's like you telling someone, oh, the police killed this innocent man. Oh no, that's not possible. The police are supposed to be there to protect people.
Yeah, like, yeah. It's like Joe Rogan actually doing a callback. He talks about like shooting bullets, and what's the Kennedy assassination, the thing. Like people talk about that, a wind, like a sudden wind can change a whole, like real life is not exact science, So yeah, and I think he's just, his conclusions are just,
insane,
unfounded, I would say. It's just, he just completely has different conclusion to what Glenn just said. Like, no, I'm concluding this based on it. But it just really annoyed me that he's doing this fact checking. So I like at least give clear definitions, or at least. But no, I'm gonna just be saying, this is a tricky one. And by the way, how old are you? Like, who are you? Like, what? I mean, we get to who is he, how he defines himself.
True, forgot about that.
Jesus. Yeah.
Let's play a bit more, because he also does this thing with clips, whereas what he says before after the clip doesn't match the clip whatsoever. like some people think just because they played a clip, it like proves their point. But like no, the clip that you play needs to like make sense with what you said.
Your conclusion has nothing to do with the clip. I played Carrot Top, and so because of that, now CIA. What? Anyway,
just watch a bit.
Criticizing the CIA for getting Iraq wrong, and Chuck Schumer said, ethics aside, how can Donald Trump be so stupid as to do that to the CIA? If you challenge the CIA, they have 6 different ways to Sunday to get back at you.
Now, this part is to a certain degree correct. The CIA does have a long history of subverting presidencies to a certain degree, like, of course, when the CIA had planned out the Bay of Pigs and then presented it to John F. Kennedy and sort of pressured John F. Kennedy to give approval. But the Bay of Pigs is also a demonstrative example because when Allen Dulles went to JFK to ask for an air invasion of Cuba, JFK said no. And there wasn't an air invasion of Cuba, and the Bay of Pigs was allowed to fail. Donald Trump saying that the CIA...
Man, people have roasted him for this. Example.
Yeah. Besides by the way, historically, even he's not that correct. Like the idea that like Khrushchev and Soviet Union had nothing to do with the fact that U.S. didn't do an air invasion. By the way, again, Chapo Trap House points that. It's not Chapo Trap House. Matt Christensen, one of them, on another show, points out that what happened to that president who went against CIA?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know exactly what happened, right? But it is a horrible example.
Yeah. But George Bush had it is it's just what happened to that guy.
Right.
It's just but just historically he's wrong. Kennedy was an anti-communist crazy person as well. And by the way, Kennedy was, if anybody was part of like deep state, it was Kennedy and his grandfather, like Bootlegger. They stole, like Kennedy won the election. By the way, talking about the stolen election, Kennedy stole Chicago. Kennedy stole the whole of what's the state? Chicago State.
Illinois.
Like they did. Like anyway, like if you want to get into it, you can. Like you could argue Kennedy was the deep state.
But yeah, that's a horrible example. Let's play a bit more because I have one main point that I would like to make. I want to hear him say it.
Before getting to his definition of himself, I really love it.
Got it wrong is to a certain extent true about the Iraq War. But we also need to understand this. It was not the
examples that he picks, the Iraq War and
official position of the entire CIA that Iraq had chemical weapons. It was the position of one sub-agency that was specifically oriented towards chemical weapons. They used the testimony of one witness that later proved to be uncredible to make that claim. That claim...
Okay, so this is a recurring theme that he has in his analysis. I don't know if you did a bit of organization study.
That's true, but that's...
what does he think that every single person in the organization works on every single thing together? He's like, oh no, that was just this unit who works on this. No, what did you want? The unit that's responsible for something else? He makes this excuse over and over.
Janitors that work in Pentagon, and they don't know anything about any planned coup d'etats or anything like that. No, none of them. None of them mentioned it. Not one janitor. Or
the cafeteria lady, she used to protest during the 70s. She was a hippie. Wait.
The person who... And by the way, in military and intelligence services, why do you think they don't have accounts or they don't do audits unless they're completely forced to? And they are different factions completely fighting each other off. I would even I'm trying to work out maybe something to write about this, but Nixon, the person who provided Deep Throat, it may have been inter-office rivalries. Of course there are different factions and there are different groups, and as if ever we meant there is one group of people, they meet every month on the night of the full moon and smoke pipes and decide, should we do Iraq now? Yes, we should.
And even if it is just some people, okay, but at the end the CIA acted that way, right? So what's your point? So yes, they acted they did act this way? What if there was other people who didn't want it, or there was dissent? The end result was that
no. I think that I would say their argument is like look, there are other people going against them, but I don't know where there. I don't remember that, but I'm sure
Exactly,
there may
and
have been within, but they have probably because they had different interests, like they represented a different faction of like Saudi royal family or something.
But
again, it's so childish. It's so goddamn childish. It's beyond like.
I want to get to the part.
That's why it's comedy.
But I don't think we'll get to the part where he talks about how the military depends on Congress, and if they don't get their funding every 2 years, they'll be cut off.
Oh my god!
I mean, he just does such literal reading of stuff. That's why I made that joke about learning how to drive by like someone who just
the military
reads it
is dependent on Congress. That's for sure. Like I mean, the whole like economy has been dependent on the military since World War II, and they are dependent on a bunch of like low-level crooks, not even thugs. They won't stand a chance.
But what is funny about him is that he reads and like he does like research, so he's not like other people who come out and talk bullshit like, you know, just like that, like us, and might get some things wrong, but he specializes on a topic, but then just makes the most insane kind of interpretations.
He doesn't.
I mean, it sounds like he's read about the CIA a few pages. I mean, if you were to take a test,
he has. No, but if I claim I'm an expert, it's not the same as
that's true.
Like having I mean, look, like we have some level of like relevant education at least, right? And relevant work, I would say. But like what he says exactly, that's the thing I didn't even get from his like Twitter bio, and I don't get what is his exact.
Well, let's show to people what he is.
He talks politics and news. It's just.
He's a CIA understander.
He's very young.
Does anybody know how old he is? I don't know. I mean, okay, so he's
like 16. Like
no, he's easily in his 20s, man.
He looks very puberty.
I doubt he's that young.
Like heavy.
Look, he's a CIA understander. He's a Marxist.
CIA understander.
He talks in news and politics, and apparently he writes too, and contributor. And man, he has one of the worst. Look at this. He follows almost 1,400 people, but only has 2,000 followers. That is really bad, I must say. Because, you know, like you follow all these people for them to follow you back. So, only like...
I think I have like 1,000 people I follow, but like nobody follows me. Like,
I mean, I don't think you use it. Then you're not a public figure. Let's see if he tweets regularly. Yeah, he tweets.
No, but wait, hang on me. CIA understander. Like, how do you become that? How what exactly are the?
But he's the most weirdest. I mean, you say it's normal, but he's the most random person because he believes that Congress lies or is incompetent. I think he believes that the executive branch, whether it's Democrat, Republicans, can lie and stuff. But the CIA. Suddenly he like talks about them as if he's their spokesperson. That's one thing that I found really weird.
Yeah, he's too fractured to be called liars. There are good people there too. That's, I guess, I don't know. But does he say anything about Congress and executive being liars or corruptible? I don't remember.
Yeah. Let's watch a bit more. But towards them, he doesn't have the same, like he's not defending them in that way. Let's watch a little bit more. See what else he says.
Was then funneled up to President Bush in order to pressure him to go into the Iraq War and was used as justification for the Iraq War. And even then, that example is telling, and it's very important because it wasn't the entire agency of the CIA. It was one specific subunit. Based on the history of the CIA, this is how these things tend to operate anyway.
Pressure George Bush. Anybody needed to... like anybody needed to pressure George Bush to going to war with Iraq. Like that was like Dick Cheney's wet dream from 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. And again, though, that's like somebody mentioned he's young. I feel bad now because he does look very young. So I don't know.
Man, what, he's like 5 or 6 years younger than us. How old do you think? How young do you think he is? He's probably mid-20s.
I think under 24, I would say. But whatever.
I
I
don't
don't care. But
It's just funny. I mean, his points.
It's just level of ignorance, like about Iraq war. Like it's not that. I mean, I don't know. Like you could read upon that. Read on that.
But I love. He also
about
says
that.
like in the history of the CIA, it's always been like this. It's always been a small part of the agency who like does something bad. I think, and he's like read this history. It just amazes me. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan.
I don't know if we have much else to say. Let's watch 30 seconds.
I saw a really. No,
should I play 30 seconds?
Me to a, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, and then we'll come back.
Political or outside the norms of what you would expect, especially when it comes to fabricating evidence to try and bully a president into starting a war. Those things are typically not done within the main body of the CIA itself, but are done.
I go to sleep with it on, I wake up and I look well rested.
Oh man, I think that was our cue.
It was not done by the main body of CIA, it's done by the main body of.
I mean, he was saying this.
By the way, who exactly? Just that's why you shouldn't focus too much on the CIA. By the way, since the 90s, I believe 90% of most of the intelligence is sift through by NSA. Deep. That's the thing about deep state. It moves around. It doesn't it's not like they stay in one. It's Japanese and Korean examples are really good because you literally see the heads of these big companies like Hyundai or Sony or Samsung literally being in circles or being in positions of power.
So being switched around and stuff. But yeah, this was an interesting one. At first, I thought TYT really promoted this and put it on their main channel. So maybe a lot of people were trying to find it and couldn't find it, but they didn't. They left it on their HQ Rebels, which also has a good 400,000 subscribers.
People are trying to find it.
Yeah, possibly.
Rebel HQ has started before TYT became a complete,
Yeah.
I think it started before Jimmy Dore left.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they manage to gain any followers. But okay.
I wanted to point out the comment by
which one?
Caro Moth.
I see it.
Yeah, the one that says as we might become some sort of news joker villain. That's good. I would like that if we become the. Yeah, that would be that's a reason. That's a good goal to have, I think, for us.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sam Safely's. Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, that's.
Now you really look like you're in the basement. You don't have good connection to today. It's funny. Really? Your connection is so much better when we do on Zoom. I don't know why.
I have turned off my VPN.
Yeah, I don't know what the reason is.
I thought. Let me just try to go on mobile data. See if
no, it's all good. But should we move on to the Grayzone a bit?
But definitely.
Or do we have anything else to say here?
No. Just it was really funny when they would check it out.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. My favorite thing is the whole organization thing out of everything, because we already saw he comes back to that argument twice that it's parts of the CIA. It's not the whole body of the CIA. That was my favorite takeaway from it.
I would say my favorites in general whole thing is the. I don't get the. Again, it's like the whole with the doctor thing we discussed. Like these people, what expertise do you have to be so confidently? Yeah, I'm gonna take apart the most, one of the most celebrated journalists. What he said, I'm gonna take that apart first and tell you what is the fact. What are the facts, and then I'm gonna. I'm gonna tell. It's just the arrogance and the. I don't know.
I know.
I really don't get it.
Do you see this last comment for you on the screen? I think that's a good idea.
Weekly bonus. Yeah, probably. I should. If I get a sign and all that. No,
but okay.
To be honest, it's not a basement.
You have books at least. I let you read, educate yourself. But okay,
Yeah, yeah.
what would you like to talk about the Grayzone? Which videos have you watched? They had a bunch of good ones. I saw the interview that Aaron Maté posted today with the political journalist on RussiaGate. Again, a great again, a great interview on the same subject, really. But that was really good. I don't know.
What?
Today he
Which one
posted an
was that?
interview with the political author. I told you he has a new
you-
book out on RussiaGate.
The Kreshinger guy?
Yes, I believe it's his latest. It's the latest video on
Well,
the
that's not
Grayzone.
about Russia. That's about Biden's family.
Oh, true. That's about Hunter. Yeah, true. It's about Hunter Biden.
It's about Biden
and
family.
yeah, I got
generally,
confused.
Like
Sorry,
Hunter
so
Biden,
many.
the uncle. No, yeah. No, that was a great interview, and Kreshinger, if I'm not mispronouncing his name, also goes on Useful Idiots, and his book is apparently very well referenced and all that. I'm interested to read that, like historically, as well. It's just corruption of the Biden family, and it does seem like Joe Biden does come from what he was saying, is not as corrupt as the rest of his family. But but the Grayzone did a lot of content I wanted to comment on.
Oh yeah, but just before
go ahead.
that, I just want to say one thing. One thing I really like about Aaron Maté, and anytime he does these Hunter Biden videos, like towards the end or something, he always takes some time to say that it's not about Hunter Biden, and like we wouldn't need to be talking about this so much if they hadn't tried to censor that story, and it's really about the censorship of that story. And if not, I mean, Hunter Biden had a pretty crazy life that you don't want to really like mock and like dunk on or anything like that. So Aaron Maté does a good job of always separating.
Yeah, I mean the personal stuff is nonsense, but I would say them trying to, him and Joe Biden's brother trying to like get foreign investors like to invest into their, I forget what it wasn't even successful. That was like the best part of their scam. But like that type of shit is serious corruption. Like it is a small time and it goes on all the time. Let's not get too crazy like, oh, this is something so surprising. But if you get caught, it's pretty bad. Like you can't even hide this. How incompetent are you? Like but yeah. So
and also,
but the personal stuff is bullshit.
Yeah. And I mean, just one other, I mean, this is just like a basic take, but it's so true that, I mean, if Ivanka Trump or some other Trump member was trying to sell paintings during Trump's administration, they would never let that go. But I mean, CNN would have like art like connoisseurs all day on TV talking about this.
I don't know about that. No. Jared Kushner tried to pretty much float his shitty investment in New York. He bought the most expensive, I believe. Yeah, he tried to get the Chinese investor to buy like bits of that for passports and all that. So I think just media just ignores serious issues in favor of like things about paintings and that thing. That it would because it's shitty, because it's not substantive, because it doesn't hurt any potential Chinese, Arab, Iranian, American, whatever investors. So yeah, we touch that.
And I mean, those paintings, man, apparently some of them went as much as $500,000. I mean, I thought it was $50,000 a painting, but still, and he only started painting soon, man. Recently, sorry. That is goddamn a lucrative turnover.
I think, to be fair though, you shouldn't really focus on your painting skills. You should focusing on getting your dad elected to the highest office in the land.
I don't know which one's easier.
I have a feeling the quality of your skills has Hunter's skills had little to do with the pricing, but that's just me. Well, yeah.
But kudos to him. But what else? What else did you watch and would like to talk about?
That was a great video. But yeah, I don't know how to start because we've seen these videos, like we've shared them with each other and all that sort of during the last 3 weeks. So it's become a bit of a muddled. Well, let's start with the good. We had a great interview with Michael Isikoff, who was Michael Isikoff is, I would say, is one of the people who supports the Russia connection between WikiLeaks and Russia. So this is somebody who is
Oh, really?
considered like mainstream and all that. And but he found out about like this, like Mike Pompeo and his CIA team, basically, trying to, even coming up with plans to. We talked about it, maybe kidnapping Assange, or
Oh, okay, yeah,
that type
yeah.
of, really. So he's the one who uncovered it, and he did. Yahoo, he published it in Yahoo News and all that. So that was a great interview, because you have two people from different positions, and as I think Katie Alper put it, they are very much respectfully trying not to argue with each other, and it's so good. It's a good one. Although I would say I think Aaron Maté completely wins, because it's just, as Matt Taibbi said, I think recently, like the other argument just keeps going on, saying like, come on, like whenever you don't think that's ever, come on, like they don't really answer, or have an argument, like, oh, Guccifer 0.20, that's what Michael Isikoff refers to, like, come on. And you're like, okay, how do you, like, that has nothing, anyway. Or like, we don't know if those troll farms that got like 200,000 whatever ads, we don't know if they were even connected to Russian government or not. So, anyway, so that was really interesting. Yeah.
Sorry. And that's if, like, with the Russiagate people, I mean, they find like maybe even one of the things that they say is true. Even that wouldn't support the overall narrative and the huge claims that they have. At best, maybe they can, one or two things that they justify. But I mean, the extent of their claim and the impact that Russia had on that Trump election, they would need to have like documents this thick, all like verified and like correct, for it to like substantiate how big a deal that they made about this. If you find one or two small things here and there, I'll be like, okay. I mean, that's not enough to substantiate the huge kind of claims that you made.
I believe based on their own, like based on the research done, like the ads they claim Russia got, or Russian trolls got, or whoever put out there, like was viewed by less than 500,000 people or something, or like got less than that in terms of like.
So even if you give them that still doesn't support your gigantic argument. You know what I mean?
No, he's but I would say Isikoff's main point was mostly on the WikiLeaks and the John Podesta emails. You could argue that was a more, if we don't again know, and as Aaron Maté points out, it's more likely that the guy was taking credit for something he hadn't done. But if that was true, that was more part of, you could say that substantially hurt like Clinton. So that's like Isikoff was mainly focusing on that, on that, the idea that they hacked, not even hacked, fished, through a link, John Podesta's email. And then they put out all, which is, by the way, some of the funniest emails. Like he gets invited to a satanic ritual, which is like, by the way, not like, not in a crazy, one of these like liberals, they have midlife crisis, so they find a religion, and they mix, I believe they mix semen with shampoo or honey or something. And then it's just, it's the weirdest ceremony. But I remember reading up, like he had, most of his emails was not even that useful, like so shit. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, he's talking about that, the Isikoff guy. But again, it was, worth a watch, I think.
Yeah, Karab Moth he got frustrated with the interview. It is difficult to deal with people who are arrogant in their ignorance.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely.
I didn't watch.
Exactly. He doesn't. That's the thing. Like, even if you think you're right and people you disagree with are wrong, give some evidence instead of just saying "come on" and you don't think. No, clearly I don't. Otherwise, I would agree with you. So give me some fucking evidence. I hate that. You don't think that's a sign of, you don't think, fuck off. Like, sorry, I've just heard that a lot.
And a sign or everything, they don't like support your whole thing. Even if, one or two of these, just like you don't think this was Russians doing that. Okay, maybe it was. I mean, the same point that I made before. It doesn't support the huge kind of argument and influence that you were saying.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think you should, like, you just, I think, made a mistake. You shouldn't even give them that fucking edge.
Yeah.
It's like the Bill Maher. You should, like, completely, like, because as soon as you give them a little, what's the saying? You give them a hand, they take your arm. Like, you should, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Because Bill Maher, for example, Republicans obviously support Trump. No, not when it comes to foreign policy.
Yeah.
Like, who says that? Like. So yeah, I know what you're saying though.
Yeah.
If they were
No,
reasonable people, but they're not reasonable.
No, exactly. I mean, exactly. That's a very good point. But okay. What else?
So yeah, I also wanted to talk about. Oh, they did a great interview with Mike Hudson.
Yeah.
Which talks about the history of U.S. and I loved it because it's economic history, and I love economic history. And they talk about Nixon shocks or Walker shocks, the crisis in '70s, and how U.S. went from being backed from gold to fiat money, which again, it's like, I think that's like the most important thing that has happened during the last 50 years in terms of like having an effect on us in larger scale of things. And I am so surprised to this day. I know a lot of people who are very well educated on like Iranian history, on politics and all that, and they still think dollar is backed by gold. They don't know it's fiat.
Really?
And yeah, they or backed by like combination of gold and other precious metals, or like
really?
production output or something. Yeah, they don't understand. It's like completely based on demand. So there is nothing backing it. It's like demand. Like, I mean, somebody controls demand, I would argue, but it is demand and supply when it's so. And I still like, it's just, I don't believe, why is it not like any political or economic conversation, I think, should start from there, like from the fact that we have fiat money. And then like, it's something that I feel like Glass-Steagall, the fact that Clinton pushed aside Glass-Steagall regulation gets a much bigger coverage in media. But this is a far more important.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people know that because it was so connected to the recent financial crisis. But why? Give me like one or two reasons why, in your mind, this was such a huge development. I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands in different ways that you can make. But what are two reasons that you would say that, like any reason, why you think it's so important?
It shifted. I mean. Until first, it ended the Bretton Woods system, which came into effect after World War II, which was the Keynesian system of economics, right? So the whole Keynesian system of economics, that government is going to basically, through a state intervention, I mean, mostly in the US, was military spending through Red Scares or scaring communists, right? So that model of economy, that your government will come in and inject money or whatever that is needed at a time, that came to an end, partially due to the fact that that model wasn't working anymore. I'm not some Keynesian, by the way. I'm not like that model had its own problems, right? So that came to an end because of the series of crises. So US had to deal with it. I don't think it was, by the way, a planned move. It was very much, I mean, it seems like Nixon was planning to, like, the original plan was to move to a different thing instead of gold, to have dollar backed by something. But then it's just, you can't, because the level of commerce that is going on with dollar can't be, it's international. I believe more than 80% of commerce today, and it was more so back in 70s. So the Bretton Woods system came to an end, which is important, and we moved towards a monetary policy that came to its height pretty much. Well, not its height, but it came to fruition with Thatcher and Reagan, and then you also shift from what somebody called, I think, I forget who was it, we shift from citizen-oriented politics, I think, to consumer-oriented politics. And like, in a way, like, because consumer, and you see the rise of Consumer Protection Agency, and the demise of diminishing of the labor unions and all that. Consumer becomes the main person, and controlling inflation becomes the, still to this day we are living with this fear of high inflation from 1970s. I mean, in Iran it's a very real fear. I mean, it's not from 1970s, but in US and UK or whatever, the winter of discontent or whatever. So yeah, I think in terms of like, first of all, ending the Bretton Woods system, shifting towards a monetarist policy, shifting towards a even more, I would say this is a more philosophical or whatever take, towards a more we are more separated from real life, whatever that is, like, real tangible things, increasingly to more intangible things, not unreal, just less intangible. So I think, yeah, it was very like that. These are what, and it just changed the whole structure of global economy. So it didn't matter how much precious metals you had or anything. It mattered how much dollar you had.
I mean, I mean, I'm guessing from an economics point of view, it was very limiting for the government, right? Because I mean, they could only spend as much dollars that they pretty much had, if I understand, I guess, correctly. As much, gold that they had.
It meant
they could only.
It meant. No, not really. No, it didn't. Not.
Could
not
they go more
fact.
than that? I guess they could go in debt in different ways. And
they did. That's why they did the shift. They did go over that because the international commerce had to be based on some money. And that was and you France famously, de Gaulle, and to a lesser extent Germans, they started taking their gold to US and telling them during Nixon years, telling them to just give us cash basically. They took their dollars and said give us gold. And then US was like, oh shit, we don't have enough gold.
Let's forget about that. Just take double the money. But yeah, I mean, based on what I understand, it would limit a lot what governments could do right now. And yeah, I'll tell you one group of people who know about this.
I don't know if it limits. It's just it's different. But I would say that it gave a huge leverage. I mean, US had this leverage, but it's sort of post World War II, but it was extra sort of added thing that US markets became even more lucrative. If you had access to US market, that was a whole different thing than the rest of the world.
I see. And in the beginning, you mentioned how there's so many people who don't know that, who still think that until today it's pegged to gold, the US dollar. But crypto people are super into this, and they know this, and they want to because cryptocurrency is also limited, especially Bitcoin. So they think going fiat back, and they think all their problems in the world right now is because of government overspending. At least some of them who prescribe to that narrative, and that's why their money is losing value. So you should go towards cryptocurrency because the government can just print as much as they want. But if it's Bitcoin, like gold, is the case.
I mean, in the end, at the end of it, by the way, you get to it and you realize that, it's all a fucking monopoly game. Like the whole life, this whole economy, this whole Adam Smith, Karl Marx, all that shit. It's ended up in a monopoly game that there is a guy with a gun giving you papers with drawn faces on it, saying this has this much value. Do you get it now? Okay, that's what it is in the end, But so even first we come up with I think before gold standard, I think we had silver for a while.
Yeah.
So it's just and then before that I think it was mixed or something. So it's just I think it is also a reflection of our growth as a human civilization or whatever we are, that we are just moving, that we are realizing this is all bullshit. So gold doesn't really have any value just because it's shiny,
exactly. I don't understand where gold's value in that sense comes. I mean, if you burn it and limited stuff, it is limited, that I get, but
no, I don't think it can be. I don't think it's very easily destroyable. I don't know, but it's very limited.
It is limited,
and it's very shiny. That's pretty much it. And you could argue though, that's why you could argue gold and that is more tangible. You had to extract gold, but like increasingly, especially since 1970s. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Increasingly since 1970s, we are moving towards like what they call financialization. For example, 2008, everybody, these financial packages that are sold and bought between different companies, and it's becoming more intangible. I don't know how to say that. Like
Intangible.
it's becoming it's started moving towards the fucking ether in 1970s. My headphone
I
might run
see.
out, so I might change.
Okay, no worries. You can do that. But yeah, I mean, what else on the Grayzone? I mean, I was gonna ask you if you know what the game Monopoly is about, but I'm sure everybody, everybody in the chat and you know this, so I won't be dropping that impressive fact. But what else from the Grayzone caught your attention?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they also had a thing on Pandora Papers, and they had an interview between Aaron Maté and Glenn, which both of them were really, really good overall. But I did have a couple of things that stood out to me. First of all, I mean, I've said this, I think, before. I don't get the shock, like the way Glenn and Aaron Maté talk about, like, can you believe CNN and these media now they have the CIA people on and all that. Yeah, like completely, I can believe. Like I don't, I don't get the shock and the disgust they
see.
have for these people. I think it's just,
I mean, I get the
it seems
disgust,
very
but
normal.
not the shock. But I mean, I haven't really got that
disgust,
impression
yeah.
from watching them though too much. So I don't know.
No, I felt they seemed a bit very very surprised by the fact that CNN now dares to hire. Like,
I mean, I've seen Ben
they've always,
Norton
like,
do
they
that.
used to be a bit more.
I've seen Ben Norton do that. Have you shown me that point too? Like when Ben Norton is like, when Biden gave a speech at the UN and it was like a minute of lies, and Ben Norton is like, oh, you see, he's lying and blah blah, and it really made it seem like he was shocked
Joe
that
Biden is speaking.
Yeah.
That was even worse, like a politician, of course. But yeah, no, I would. What was I gonna say? Fuck.
I mean, you were saying that how they were so surprised.
No, Wolf. Like I was like when I was very young, Wolf Blitzer, right? You know him as the newscaster on CNN, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be. I found out. I was looking at videos of Norman Finkelstein, and he used to be an IPEC like representative, like Israeli lobby representative.
Really?
Like, and he was debating Norman Finkelstein in like 1980s or
Stop
something like that. Like,
gonna have to
I
pull
swear
that up.
to God, find that
Gonna have
video.
to pull
find
that up.
video.
Wolf.
Yeah, or maybe it was Noam, but I think it was Norman Finkelstein. But anyway, so I'm just not shocked by anything CNN or any of them, MSNBC, like yeah. Anyway, so but yeah, besides that, what was somewhat surprising to me was that they were talking about Pandora Papers, and then they were talking about, we did a tiny bit railed against online censorship, and it's not a good thing, and blah blah blah. And they were doing the same. They were saying online censorship by pro-war media outlets is a bad thing and stuff. And then Max Blumenthal says, well, China apparently they censor Instagram. I'm not sure, but they censor Instagram maybe because they don't want their whole culture to go to shit, but that's different. And they don't linger on it because I think I don't know if but I don't understand. So China is okay to censor, but like because of cultural reasons, which basically means we don't like gay people. But but like if YouTube censors, it's bad. But if Chinese government censors, it's okay. I don't.
Yeah, that one was a bit of a weird one. That was a bit of a weird one. But I mean, sometimes maybe because when you're critiquing like some stuff, like, I mean, we did that video on breaking points and their garbage China commentary. And I mean, if someone just watches that video and takes it out of context, they could be like, oh, look at these two pro-Chinese like guys. But because I guess we're debunking other bullshit, sometimes you can't help yourself, but you inadvertently support the other side.
I was very, I mean, okay, sure, maybe there can be snippets from it, but I was very clear to say that, yeah, of course, like whoever is in more powerful position will take advantage. Like I did say that in the, again, it's maybe it was just a comment on a live show, and I have like this is our third time doing a live, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, maybe it was just that, but it was very surprising to me that he said like, yeah, like it seemed to suggest that the censorship in China is more acceptable than censorship by a corporation. I'm just gonna change this because I think it's gonna run out in a second.
No, and
sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go ahead.
Talk a bit. I'm
yeah.
not gonna hear you.
There's actually one comment here by Carollo I want to come back when Sam is here about the Pandora Papers. But yeah, perhaps the Grayzone outrage is partly performative to illustrate to the audience they should be shocked in a sane world, but we're not there. No, that is very true, and I mean it's better to be like them. I think you get more out of your audience. Just sometimes it's surprising.
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay. So Sam, first Carollo was just saying that, you know, Grayzone, maybe their outrage is partly performative to illustrate to their audience, you know, that they should be shocked in a sane world, but we're not there. But I wanted to bring this one up though. So it turns out that almost nobody from the US, Canada, Australia were exposed by the Pandora Papers. Thank God they're all
because
so
it's
honest.
legalized.
So that's true. I mean, actually, I don't know about Canada and Australia. Maybe there were some in Canada and Australia, but this chart that they put on the Pandora website paper,
was there
no American politicians. UK? Yeah, they were UK, I think. I mean, you know, it was like a color thing, their graph, right? So the US was the one that looked like they didn't have anything on them, which is, I mean, quite weird. But yeah.
I would say if you did read a bit, though, I mean, one of the South Dakota was one of the places that was like really, like it was so like the British financial advisors and British Islands and just the British financial system's involvement and the American financial system's involvement was so transparent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I would say maybe it had more to do with the fact that in these countries it's mostly like above board too, pretty much.
And that was only politicians. The graph referred specifically to politicians. So it didn't say that no Americans were named or no, but it was only on politicians. And I mean, you know, some US politicians probably don't have as much money as politicians in other places. I mean, I'm just guessing. Like, do Congress members in the US, are they as rich as, like, for instance, that Czech Republic prime minister or president? I mean, I don't know. Because, I mean, US Congress and Senate, they're corrupt. The older ones are rich and stuff. But maybe the younger ones don't even have that much money to hide. I mean, what? I don't know what they do.
But that has nothing to do with this, though. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what does that have to do with that?
No, so I'm just saying that there aren't that many American politicians who have that much money to hide their money offshore anyway, to come up in the Pandora Papers.
Well, I mean, you have like a parliament in Czechoslovakia too, and then you have, you know what I mean? Like in the US, you have a president too, like you may have. And by the way, the US presidents are exposed for corruptions like this every other day. So, and nobody cares. Again, it's just, But
the point I'm making, I'm just saying maybe all US politicians don't have that much money to hide your money in that way overseas. I mean, if you have a few $100,000 per year, you're not going to need to hide it overseas.
Look, in many of these Eastern European countries and developing world, if you want to be a crook at a big level, you have to go to government, to get contracts and all that shit, But in America or in Canada or in UK, you don't have to like go to government to be a crook. In fact, you're better off going to becoming banker to be a crook. By crook
or
I
go
mean
to the government, make connections, and then leave, and then make money when you're outside. So that's why they talk about the revolving door and all that.
But even that's for low-level pieces of shit, like, AOC and stuff. Like, the real, like, people who, like, what? I'm gonna go fucking to what Congress get paid what is it like between $50 to $150,000 a year? Fuck
Yeah.
you. I'll go to banking or I'll go to
Yeah.
even fucking dentistry is better. So like yeah, I do see your point there. Yeah, I that's why again I'm very much for paying politicians better, because right now I think we are just attracting the lowest of the low. Seriously, I mean, how else do you explain the current like Congress and I mean, I would say British Parliament is a slightly better, but very slightly.
And my point isn't that, because Selu wrote here that Business Insider had an article this week about congressional corruption and insider trading. I mean, for sure, they corrupt, they take money. I think you'll see the comments soon on your screen. You can see it.
Who? No, I didn't get. What did you say? Corruption of insider trading?
Selu wrote that Business Insider, the website, had an article this week about congressional corruption and insider trading. So I just want to make it think that my point isn't that they don't take part in corruption, that they're not corrupt, that they're not influenced by lobbyists, or that they don't take part in insider trading. We heard all of those during the pandemic, especially some congresswomen who are married to richer people and they switched around their stocks and all this before
Nancy
it happened.
Pelosi.
Yeah, I mean, them for sure, but I'm just saying in general, I mean, if you don't make more than, you need to make at least a few million, I think, for it to be worth parking your money offshore. Because, I mean, if not through tax reductions and all this, you're probably in the US, you meddle it around. There's no need to send your your $300,000 offshore.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm just
Most
guessing.
US
Maybe I'm talking shit
yeah, no,
here.
no. I tend to agree. I think it seems from what I've seen, most especially like House of Representative, which pretty much, as I've mentioned before, I believe have like literally no power whatsoever. Like they're low level. Like what do you think? Like they get as a bribe like $50,000. Like they're really low level shit. But if you're in Russia's Duma, you get like $5 million because it's goddamn Russia. Yeah, it's not. It's serious goddamn thing. And you go set up 3 like energy companies.
Yeah, and we're talking in the context of the Pandora Papers and like hiding your money. So, for instance, they probably get a lot of money for their campaign financing, right, from people that they shouldn't. But they spend that money to get reelected.
I don't.
A lot of it. But anyway, they spend that money to get reelected, a lot of it. So there isn't that much to store away, I would assume.
I think that is the way of storing it, isn't it? So the money laundering, like you have your cousin run an ad company that is part of your campaign, and you pay them a bit extra, and they profit money.
Maybe people think that we're wrong. Like Danny L says, all U.S. politicians make a few million. Do you think that
how much is there? Do you know how much? I don't know. In the UK, I remember they used to pay.
Well, look, Walter wrote
this is from 2015, 80 to 90,000 pounds a year.
Walter wrote that 170,000 plus benefits isn't enough for Congress. I don't know if he's being sarcastic, and 170,000 is a lot of money. That's not what we mean. But I'm saying, if you make 170,000, it's not enough for you to go hide it offshore for and not pay taxes.
Yes, sure. Well, and I also would say when you're earning 170,000 plus benefits, but you're hanging, and that's one of the reasons that was at one of the theories regarding the corruption. But you're hanging out with billionaires and millionaires. What you think you can hold on against? They can fucking. What was it? There was a famous joke like Jeff Bezos can fucking kill you with his paycheck, like he would just slap you and it'll just be like, if you attract these people, like they're not going to be able to, That was one of the attractions with, by the way, Trump, like why people were, I don't think it was true, but he claimed to be like, because I am so rich, I am incorruptible. Complete bullshit.
Bullshit.
You're rich because you're corrupt, but
and he wasn't even that rich.
That was
I mean, he was rich,
he wasn't even that rich. It's so funny. Like he hated Tillerson because he was actually like rich.
But in the Pandora Papers, these really like rich Americans, I mean, at least they didn't hit the news. They didn't make it, right? I mean, there was nothing on. Was there?
No.
Yeah.
No,
the focus was a bit weird, though. I will
like...
give that to the Grayzone. I mean, they are right. I mean, some things about the Pandora paper did seem weird. Like why?
I don't know. I watched a lot of British stuff about Tony Blair and the role of
True, Tony was.
institutions like the advisor and stuff. I saw a lot of that both on the UK channel and on Australia's channel. So I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right though. There was no name like, I don't know, Richard Branson give this much money to
Yeah.
that guy, or yeah,
Over
but
there.
they did a lot of that. So although at the same time BBC did this shitty documentary about Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, which is just like you want to kill yourself. So
I see.
I don't know.
And Walter, Walter wrote that
Oh,
I think that's
he
plenty
was
of
being
money
sarcastic.
for Congress person. I mean, 170,000. It is. I mean, anything that is a lot of money for anybody to get paid.
No,
but
I don't know. Not really for that position of power. If you want them to have power, I don't think that's enough for that position. Like, not in the current economy that we have. Maybe someday, but no, I don't think at that level of pay they can really exercise. And by the way, get rid of benefits, because that's the most, like, that's the thing where they get away with everything else, and they feel like they're, they don't feel like just pay them whatever and just no benefit. You get your own fucking taxi. Like, nobody goes to work and gets like, okay, taxi services and coming and going is only in fucking weird Google company where they try to own your mind. They set up their own shuttles and buses. Like, what is this? Like, what is benefit? To get a car or get a bus? I don't know. Like, how do people go to work? Benefit. Oh, I need the airplane. Like, do it yourself. What is that secretary for? What is that office for?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I guess, I mean,
Just pay them.
I guess something that some people, some believe that that's a better way, I guess, to control corruption, which is to pay less and then have all these benefits that you use, and then
Maybe, yeah, just in terms of bookkeeping, but it's, I don't know. Auditing usually doesn't work. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right there. But 170,000 is not much, man. It's like, what do you expect these people to regulate CEOs? CEOs can, they can buy and sell them 5 times from.
Yeah, but even if they were paid more, they would still be in the kind of situation. I mean, becoming a politician is supposed. I mean, if you're a politician, it's one of those only positions where if you work for the government and especially if you're a politician, it's literally one of those positions where it's really not supposed to be about you. You should be someone who shouldn't really. It's not about you when you're a politician. But
Look,
like, it seems to attract
no, that's
the
I'm
complete
sorry, but that's
opposite.
sentimental. That's sentimental bullshit.
Yeah, but
Like,
maybe that's how it
if
should be.
If you look at any politician that actually changed, no, not why? What? That's how it should be. Why?
So I mean, like, to be like, yeah, be a politician. I mean, most of the things aren't supposed to be for you or you enriching yourself. Or if you want to become very rich, you have to
I
go
don't
into
believe
different
that
areas.
at all. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
But-
That's sentimental bullcrap. Sorry.
No, I see it
yeah,
can be
that's-
that way.
Well, but- I feel bad because you so quickly you backed away from it.
No, I mean,
No,
no, you
No,
do have a point, but
I'm
it's
sorry,
not
but
so. It's
I
just
don't
like
believe in altruistic actions. I don't believe anybody does anything. Even doctors, even mothers, they have babies because they want to have babies. They don't. Nobody, like, I'm not talking about people who are forced into anything,
Yeah.
by the way. But yeah, like this altruistic bullshit thing. No, a politician, like, okay, maybe it should be in some ideal world, but it's never gonna be like that. FDR, who I'm not a big fan, if you've seen my other video, like, who you could argue has been the guy who has caused the most significant change in the last 100 years of US history. He was completely obsessed with himself, with his own
But-
self-image, and came from a super rich family, by the way. Like,
True.
just the idea that we can get people that are about
But he
serving
wasn't
the
concerned
people.
with enriching himself, though. I guess he wasn't concerned with
No, but
enriching
he
himself
was very
because he
much
was already
concerned
rich.
He was concerned with empowering himself
Mm.
and probably had dictatorial ambitions, which came to an end because he died. But
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's wishful
Or-
thinking. But
or
yeah, I
any
wish
other
people who had
country, by the
more
way. I don't wanna-
selfish. Yeah, I
I
just
don't
wish
wanna-
people who had more selfish ambitions, they would go and do literally any other line of work.
no, actually,
Except,
I don't. I hope-
except politician,
No,
if
no,
you
no.
want to make money and those are your ambitions.
No, in fact, I think we don't have enough politicians nowadays that are power hungry. We have these low-level crooks that want to get 170,000 and fuck off after a couple of years to some lobbying group in pharmaceutical company. We need a couple of power hungry politicians that are genuinely about like, oh, I'm gonna fucking milk this fucking power scam that we. I actually in fact, selfish people are going into banking and tech and all that, and
Yeah.
that's why they are doing so well, because they pay the best fucking monsters in the world to come and work for them, and they do well.
Yeah, but I guess if you're gonna, it's just that it's such a weird thing being a politician. It's such a different job than other ones. So I mean that's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh,
like being a
hey, how about
doctor. You
this? Was
pretend you
Jeremy
care
Corbyn principled or just fulfilling his own selfish desires?
Look, because I like him, you mentioned, but yeah, no, I think it's selfish desires. Just because
Yeah.
I describe I define my interest as helping others. It's still a selfish desire. It's just I am defining it like that.
Yeah.
Trump defines it as eating so like as many Big Macs as you can, but I define it like in like trying to eat not industrial food, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's still self-interest, yeah. But not that I think I love Jeremy Corbyn, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, naming some good
Take
people
you-
here. Walter names Ralph Nader and Dennis.
Kucinich.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Dennis Kucinich. I like to know more about him. Apparently, he was an interesting character. Like Maté worked on his campaign and all. I don't know enough. I know Ralph Nader, obviously.
But okay,
you
all
know?
right. Should we? Huh? No, him I don't know very well. Ralph Nader I know very well, but
Oh,
Ralph
but
Nader,
that one is.
I still listen to his radio show and stuff.
Really? Don't you get
Yeah.
bored?
It's not bad. Sometimes he has good
It's
guests.
Somebody
But-
said, somebody
Yeah.
said that, yeah, I think politicians should also have to serve in their departments. Yeah, well, just generally regulating revolving doors and expertise based. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's in the news right now. Pete Buttigieg, what expertise he has
Yeah.
to be a transportation. Like, yeah, that's. I think if there were some regulation regarding that, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of high position, exactly. Pete Buttigieg just randomly. I mean, Trump Trump made that insane lady like head of education. So
Divas, yeah, that's Divas. Sister of Eric Prince, the head of the Crusaders in Iraq.
Haven't heard from him in the past few months. I think he was around during the recent Afghanistan withdrawal.
Was he? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he must have. Oh, somebody said you're spouting nihilism. You can't prove the opposite. I suppose. Yeah, you're right there a bit. Yeah, fair enough.
But okay, Sam, should we move on to some tweets to wrap up today's
Sure.
show? Did you have anything else you wanted
Yeah.
to add or say?
No.
I feel like the
Just,
liveness
is it off?
affects the dynamic of the conversation and the show. I don't know
I
if you
think
got that
so,
feeling
too.
from it too.
I mean, I feel this time more so because we read more comments. But
Yeah. But the comments are fun. But okay, let's move on to tweets, which are the reason I wanted to do this live was for the tweets because it goes great with the comments. So please keep them coming. And let's move on to some tweets. But yeah, we're done with Ben, the CIA understander. Ay. Move on. Can you see the screen, Sam?
no, I've never been able to see the screen from the beginning. I can hear it.
Stop. But now you should be able to see the tweets.
No.
It's gonna get there. The lag is real.
Where?
How do other folks?
I
Oh,
don't
there we
know,
go.
though.
Now you should be able to see the tweet. I can see it on my phone. Where are you looking at?
I'm just looking at myself in my browser.
Oh,
I'm
grab
sorry,
your
I
phone or
don't know what-
something and go live. Look at it
No,
live.
I mean, you're streaming, so.
Yeah, no, on your phone, as if you're one of the viewers.
Oh, sorry.
I guess I'm surprised. I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know what you're looking at and how you can see that.
Okay, go read it, but
Yeah.
I'll catch up.
Well, the first one is Iron Maté, the comedian, is back. But New York Times had tweeted that the Biden administration warned that digital currencies posed a threat to America's sanction program and said in a new report that the U.S. needed to modernize how sanctions were deployed so that they remained an effective national security tool. And Aaron Maté, in response to that, tweeted that I'm officially pro-digital currencies. Jeez, man, Aaron Maté. You see, crypto has a bit of everything for anyone. Whatever you're into, whatever you like, there's something there for you to get your attention.
Yeah. But the one that posed the threat to America's sanction program. Do you know against who? Do they specifically say China or Venezuela?
No, but I'm guessing all kinds. No, I haven't read the report. Maybe the report would be nice to take a look at some point.
No, but that's from what I've heard. Yeah, that is true. That they are a relatively effective tool against like some sanctions, apparently for like banking sanctions and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you have if you have the money, you can transfer it if you have it in those kind of cryptocurrency apps and stuff, I would assume. But okay, let's keep on going. Okay, so the rest is going to be on Colin Powell. So Iron Matt tweeted, "There's no society today where mass murder is more normalized across such a wide spectrum than the US. Best illustration is progressive Democrats praising Colin Powell rather than just staying silent. Yeah, man, just stay silent. They also have no words for his victims in Iraq, Central America, Vietnam." Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I didn't get to watch the news coverage, but I've seen much more horrible people than Colin Powell, even though it's pretty horrible, die. And they like the way they talk about him on news, you would think that, you know, Gandhi or something like that, someone like, you know, someone who's widely considered as being a good person.
I'm not a big fan of
Gandhi I know that,
either.
but you get what I'm trying to say, right? So just Colin Powell, I can imagine the stuff that they were seeing him. I mean, if some of you guys were watching the mainstream media coverage, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was going to say, first, I would say there is no society where mass murder, I don't know. I would say most societies are pretty much as bad as US, but that's just my view. But yeah, that's just, yeah, exactly. Why they don't just shut up? Like when John McCain died, like this was somebody who was definitely like dropped bombs on like innocent civilians. Like he was very proud of that too. Like just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like don't say like, yeah, he's dead. His family must be sad. I don't know. Whatever. What do you want? Like fuck off. Yeah, but I would say Colin Powell. I was surprised. I didn't see that much shit. Like I was surprised at lack of. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like they're gonna be fucking fawning over him for the next 2 weeks. But it was somewhat like BBC Persia didn't mention it in their morning. Like they mentioned it, but they didn't do a big thing on it, on their thing. And I saw a couple of like stuff. I'm sure I don't watch proper TV like CNN and stuff. Maybe that was different. But yeah, just shut the fuck up. Like even if you think he was good or whatever, just shut up. Just like even as a strategy, as a goddamn Democrat or whatever, like opposition to that guy, don't like keep it in your heart. Like when you say it, your supporters get cold-hearted, and he's like the opposition will know that you're weak. Somebody mentioned in the comments, by the way, Ilhan Omar has said that Margaret Thatcher is a role model.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that, but I haven't read it.
Is that true?
I haven't read it myself. I'll try to pull that up right now, but I haven't read where she said that or in what context. I mean, it makes
whatever
absolutely
context
no sense.
And wherever she said it, she should really go. Goddamn, like okay,
maybe we'll find that for Friday
for the squad, for the whatever they call themselves. But there's, I thought Ilhan Omar was one of the more better ones. Jesus Christ. God.
Yeah, we'll have to find that.
Like, you know, when a couple of weeks ago, I told you this, like, nothing like the things that death does to your fucking image, your popular image, like for your career, really, as Gore Vidal famously. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, I mean, Colin Powell, I mean, he got a lot of, like, even when he was in government, they would very much treat him with a
exactly. He
kid
was
glove
like the
type
poor good guy who was, he was just like thrown in there. He was trying to do the right thing. And he had his chief of staff, Lawrence Wilkerson, which I used to listen a lot, who would just speak of him as if he's just like this angel, Colin Powell. And, he just happened, he woke up one day, ended up in the U.S. military, accidentally made his way up. He was trying to switch to the non-profit sector, but he just kept on getting promoted up the military chain of command.
I keep trying to become a teacher in a rural area, but I just murder people and just move up through the ranks.
But exactly, I mean, it's just on mainstream media, they're always like, oh, don't speak ill of the dead and blah, blah, blah. Fine, don't speak ill of the dead, but just shut up. If you don't want to, just shut up.
Yeah, he was the guy who was pushing the most back against the Iraq War. That's why they sort of liked him. He was the original sort of anti-Trump Republican and whatever.
But
Jesus.
And Carib Moth said that. Sorry? Yeah, I didn't watch, so I don't know. That's surprising. That is really surprising. But yeah, apparently, Omar said that.
Thatcher, the milk snatcher. Yeah, that's
so we're gonna.
I think she was Minister of Education. She cut the milk or something.
So we'll have to check that out. Let me check out the article for Friday. Right?
That's a wait. That's a good. If Omar said that to suck up to BBC, then she knows nothing of foreign affairs or history. This is such a good point because BBC fucking hates Thatcher. BBC was one of the victims of fucking that. Like like half of BBC's programming is like about 1980s and how bad it was.
Because she cut their funding a lot.
Yeah, well,
and messed with them.
She cut their funding and like the arts funding overall. So anybody in that community pretty much hates her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she. Yeah.
I can't think of any good comedian that I like her.
It's okay. All right, Sam. This gets really interesting. I mean, really funny. I love it. So you see, Max wrote that Caitlyn is a master of headlines. Okay. So,
yeah.
This was Caitlyn's headline. Creator of world's most effective anti-war meme dead at 84.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to talk about him, talk like this. That's probably the most significant contribution. I mean, yeah, anything else, it would have happened without him anyway. So.
Colin Powell, creator of the viral anti-war meme featuring himself holding a stage prop while lying to the UN about Iraqi weapons of mass destruction, has died at the age of 84. And then the person has this whole article on Substack, which has like these GIFs. So you see, this is like Colin Powell. I mean, they're GIFs that weren't like fully made, I think. Russian hackers are attacking our democracy, one of them reads. And it's just... I don't know if Colin Powell holding that. Iran nuclear weapons program. But the Russian one is my favorite though. The Russian hackers are attacking our democracy. And then Uygur genocide.
There is a lag. I am seeing this after you. Yeah, so yeah,
this
because I'm seeing it through.
Maduro narco-terrorism. So continue. So yeah, she had some funny. Oh, this one. Let me know when you can see this.
Which one? I can see Uygur genocide.
Right after that.
Maduro narco-terrorism. I can see that.
And then it's Republicans and Democrats bombing, but one of them has like LGBTQ rainbows on it and stuff.
It is stuff. Oh, the go up a bit. The one, the cartoon above is a great. That's a cartoon I've seen on Useful Idiots. You know,
Oh
that the
Lord! Oh
lady
my
is
God! They
happy.
said the
The
next one
lady
will
is
be.
happy
Yeah.
that she's sexual orientation is recognized. The person who's bombing her.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's well. I don't know. I mean, wouldn't make any difference. So
Yeah, I mean
that's
now,
nice.
but you know, this reminded me of the bomb with the rainbows on it, the LGBTQ like flag colors. Have you seen that video of like Israeli girls writing and like signing on bombs, on Israeli bombs, and putting like hearts and things like that on like actual
No,
bombs?
but
It's
I am
insane.
not surprised. I mean, the level that IDF is fucking glorified in, just it's crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just I don't understand. I never understood. Like, people run away. I knew Germans that run away from their, like, from Germany to not go to national service. They were the last of their the last generation of Germans that had to do national. Like, going to a country to do a national service. I don't understand these people. Like, I assume these girls were in the IDF, right?
No, no, no.
Or
They were little kids. They were like
oh
9,
fuck!
10, 11-year-old girls, and they're like
Oh, they were
signing
probably
bombs.
paid.
Yeah, yeah. I
Bro.
mean, it's just a disgusting thing. And whether they were paid or just brought up to just do it. I mean, I've seen some. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like their
It's
parents and
like,
stuff, bro. It's like a
did you
field
see
trip or something. Let's go see the military today. On a field
no,
trip.
did you see the Kamala Harris spaceship thingy?
Yeah, yeah.
It was
Totally.
probably. I would assume they were professional actors. You
Oh,
don't
they
risk it
were.
for such a.
But no, this one
Oh,
is
they
different.
yeah. No, I mean, sure. I mean, I'm sure there are loads of yeah. But yeah, it's
Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's the first picture. Let me know when you can see it.
see the airplane. Democrats.
So it's these ones, and I've seen. Oh, I've seen. Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
definitely I've seen some other
I
ones
saw
too in like other
in
places.
Girl. No, yeah, no. I was just saying that I doubt these people. Like, no, I don't know. Like, who are these people who have so much free time to volunteer to go to a military base to? I don't do
Yeah.
anything. Just what is going on with this one?
I mean, maybe these pictures aren't real or something like that, but they're insane. But okay,
Yeah.
let's go back as we wrap up with these tweets. This one is so funny too. So let me read you the main body of the tweet first. So Kevin Barron, he runs. He's like a news editor I found for some kind of like, I think like some kind of military news like journal or something. He wrote, "Damn it, they killed Colin Powell. Their sick devotion to partisan political power and personality cult over public health and security, knowledge and intelligence has killed 724,000 of us. Rest in peace, Mrs. Secretary. Get vaccinated, mask up, stop the spread." And Max Blumenthal wrote, "The unvaccinated did this from their mobile WMD labs." Like, what the?
No, but they're sick. Is he talking about? I don't know who the Kevin guy is talking. I think the Kevin guy is completely like he's typical the typical person you really don't want to talk to because I thought like he's that type of person that oh, all politicians are bad, they should come together and do it because he mentions partisan something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I thought he's like your typical come together now, come on guys, grow up and just do it, that type of idiot.
Yeah.
But then now that he says unvaccinated, I don't know who that is, but yeah. But damn it, they killed. He wrote. I thought they. Who are they?
Calm
down.
Tweets that they find, man. The tweets that they find, the shit that people write on Twitter. I mean, I don't know how people are so confident to just tweet all this shit all the time. But shit, I think that was it, Sam.
Oh, really? Okay.
For our tweets.
But that was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I was a bit shocked. I genuinely thought he's gonna come out with a leak, I found this video of Obama himself strangling Colin in his bed. Whatever.
Yeah, what is he even talking about? He's super confusing.
Yeah, we have to like go through his Twitter account. So fuck it, forget about it.
Here, I think a few comments just wrapping up. Carib Moth, Kamala Harris would lose to Trump. I don't gamble, and I would bet on that. I feel the exact same way. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was one of the people who kind of liked Kamala originally, but her performance live, as our performance live, has been just like, Jesus Christ, I thought you can answer 2 questions in a row.
How did you like her? When did you ever like her? When you heard her story about how Joe Biden took that bus program away from her?
Yeah, like when in the debate, she was one of the few people who, she and Tulsi Gabbard were one of the few people who were willing to attack others. So I was like, okay, she's got more kahunas than the rest. Like she may be, like Joe Biden, the reason I kind of preferred him to like some other ones is like, he had the balls to actually, I don't like what he says, but he says sometimes things that he is actually thinking. It's just him thinking, not somebody told him to think that he's actually thinking.
I mean, I take Biden for sure. I take Biden over Pete Buttigieg, even Elizabeth.
Sure.
What was her name? Elizabeth
Warren, for sure.
Warren, and also of course, the Amy Klobuchar. I mean, these aren't crazy ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody like.
But Elizabeth Warren, she was a big disappointment too. I mean, during that election.
No, I would have definitely, like Elizabeth Warren. In my view, she was a known quantity after 2016. I mean, people who want to pretend she wasn't, whatever. But yeah, I don't think her platform was like, people who are willing to change their platform that quickly are worse than people who are originally just against you. I trust them more. It's just me.
No, I agree with you there. But Sam.
I feel my comments about nihilism and all that has lost us about 5 or 6 viewers. Am I wrong?
No, I think it's all good. People go in and out. Yeah, maybe we got a bit too crazy with the Grayzone area, so people check us if we start rambling too much. I blame the format. The live format is affecting my thinking process. So
it's. I would say take everything we say always with a huge, not grain, just the
bathtub of salt.
Handful of bathtub of salt. But this with live, get it more because we say probably. I have a very bad mouth, so I don't mean to, but it's just what was it? The Bill Hicks jokes. I don't mean to be bitter. I just am. It comes across that.
But so hopefully we'll be back on Friday, but maybe this time we'll record a video and post Progressive World on Saturday, and then maybe do another live on Sunday. That looks like the schedule for now, but we shall see.
But and hopefully some country briefs if there's some updates.
Definitely. But so thank you everybody who watched live and for all the comments and everything. It's been amazing. Can't believe 2 hours passed this quickly when you do this stuff.
Yeah, thanks. This one was great comment-wise and all that.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone. Please like, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That would be great. We see that 50% of the people watching our stuff in the past month aren't subscribed. So
cool.
Please do so.
I really didn't think that would be that high.
Yeah, but if not, please have a good day and have a good evening, depending on where you are, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you. Oh, all right. You okay? Bye, everyone.